Hello, Enid. I'm Jerald Gilbert, your city manager. I wanted to take a few minutes today to communicate and visit with you, and this seemed to be the best medium, the best way to do it. Specifically, what I want to talk about is the recently passed mandatory mask mandate from the City Commission. I know that this is not a hugely popular thing. I do admire the courage of the Commission to do it in the face of opposition from people that don't want to do it, don't want to have that mandate, and from people who think that the mandate doesn't go far enough. So I wanted to talk about the mandate and what the city is trying to do and why I believe the Commission did what they did. So let's just start with some quick history. Everybody knows there were two previous attempts and almost a third attempt, with the latest one being in September. What precipitated bringing the issue up again, I think everybody knows. In November was not a good month for COVID and COVID infections in Enid, Oklahoma, or the state of Oklahoma, or the world. Our numbers doubled, and more than doubled in November, and our hospitals filled up with COVID patients and other sick people. And so in an effort to try and improve the rate of masking in town, the City Commission took the steps that they took, and we certainly had an eventful meeting Tuesday night. What that mandate includes is, well, actually the mandate applies to individuals in Enid in indoor locations. And in indoor locations, the city has mandated that you wear a mask for the safety of yourself and others and to help prevent that spread. And I think I will say, and I heard several people on both sides of the issues at the Stride Bank Center on Tuesday talking about how and questioning the effectiveness of masking. And I don't think I heard anybody say masks are 100% effective or 75% effective or always effective or that you can't get COVID if you wear a mask. But I think what was fairly clear to me anyway is that it does offer some degree, some help in spreading and in slowing the spread and helping the hospitals. And that's the reason that the Commission did what they did, and that's the reason that we have that mandate. And so I realize I'm not trying to convince people that don't agree with it, because I have some of those same thoughts. I don't like wearing a mask. I don't think anybody likes wearing a mask. But for several reasons, I'm going to wear a mask and city employees are going to wear a mask. Well, obviously, number one is I'm the city manager and I work for the City Commission. But I tell you, even if I wasn't, I would do it anyway. And again, not because I believe it's 100% effective. I'm going to do it because I'm going to try to be compliant with what my civic leaders, based on what they're hearing from the people that are the health officials, I will say, our hospital administrators, our county health. We're putting our trust in them. I realize none of us know everything about COVID. They don't know everything about COVID, and we don't. Nobody does. We're going to find out more. And there's good news. The vaccine is on the way. That'll be probably another issue for some people. I do think that that vaccine is supposed to be in Enid, Oklahoma in December, and they're in small quantities, available for our health professionals to help them start building the immunity that we're going to need to get to where we can get away from this stuff with masking and all these things. But I wanted to come and visit with you and just try to clear up a few things, and I realize you may have lots of questions. And you can certainly reach out to me at any time, jgilbert@enid.org. My phone number is 580-616-7245. You can certainly reach out to the city attorney, Carol Lehman, clehman@enid.org, 580-616-7262, or the chief of police, Brian O'Rourke. Chief O'Rourke, I believe, is doing a wonderful job for the community. So anyway, just quickly, the mask, it's not an ordinance, it's a declaration. The mask declaration does not apply to certain entities, Vance Air Force Base, the county, hospitals, medical residential facilities, nursing homes, schools. Those were specifically left out of this, churches, religious institutions. And the reason they were left out is not to let them do whatever the heck they want, although that's really what can happen. But all of them have their own policies already. And I realize other entities do as well, but it was deemed that those entities we would leave out. So if you go on Vance Air Force Base, you're going to be wearing a mask anyway. If you go to the Enid school system, you're going to be wearing a mask. If you go to Chisholm, you're either going to be wearing a mask or whatever they're doing out there. And quite frankly, Enid High is in virtual, so you're not even going to go into Enid High because of the situation. So I just wanted to again say, why did we do a mask mandate? We did it with good intentions. We did it to try and slow the rate of increase and spread in the community and not overload the hospitals. We're hopeful that strategy, along with social distancing and washing your hands and people just being responsible, will get us through until the vaccine is widely available. And so we're asking for your help and your cooperation. As you know, there's no specific enforcement on this. I think that was discussed too, and it's very apparent. There's not going to be a mask violation. If somebody sees you and you're not wearing a mask in an indoor place like you should be, or you probably should be, there's probably not going to be somebody writing you a ticket unless there's a confrontation about something, either with the business or with somebody else. And then, of course, the police will respond, as they always do. I would hope that doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen. In my opinion, just my opinion, everybody should do their best to comply with this. I did hear a lot at the meeting about most folks that were against the government mandate are not against wearing masks. They're not against wearing them in a place where they've been requested to wear them. They just don't want to be told to wear them by the government. I completely understand that too. I do know in this situation, because of the situation with the doubling of the infection rates and the concern about the hospitals and the concern about the holidays and continued spiking, this action was deemed best for the community, and the governing body took the action they did. So again, I assure you they listened to everybody, and certainly I know we will certainly all accept the consequences of our actions, and hopefully our actions will be able to look back on and say that they helped the situation and not that it made it worse. So anyway, there's some exceptions. Obviously, children under 5, I'm sure you're all aware of these. When you're in a restaurant eating and drinking, you can't wear a mask. We know that. Everybody knows that. When you're communicating with somebody that's got a disability or can't hear you, you're going to have to take a mask off to better communicate. That's understandable. If you have a health condition, that's understandable. If a mask creates a safety hazard, that's understandable. We don't want mask causing safety issues. If you're in an office by yourself, understandable. So a lot of things. I was in the dentist office yesterday. I wore my mask in until I got in a chair. I took it off, and I don't know how else they would have cleaned my teeth. And so obviously there's some obvious situations. So I believe most people, whether they're for this or against this, I believe most people will do their best to try and comply. I appreciate that. That's what I'm appealing to. I hope that everybody can do that. We do not. This has been the most divisive issue I have ever seen working for the city, and I regret that we're in this situation. I'm confident that we're going to be coming out of this situation, and I know that working together, we'll get there. And despite our differences, we all live here, and I look forward to working and seeing each and every one of you. And I hope that I've tried to explain why the city did this and talk about it a little bit. If you have questions for me, I think I've already given you my number and my email. Feel free to reach out to me anytime, and or Scott Morris, the Assistant City Manager, Carol Lehman, or Brian O'Rourke, or others at the city. But I think those 4 people will do our best to have answers or to help get answers. You can also reach out to your commissioner at any time. The mayor and the commissioners, their emails and phones are listed on the website, so please take a look. And thank you, Enid, for working together to try and get through this difficult infection period, unprecedented time. Let's work together and get to the other side. I think 2021 is going to be a great year for all of us, and I'll see you around town. See ya.